Black screen. A phone vibrates. Typing. It disappears. Nothing. Right now, millions of people around the world are waiting. Waiting for a text. Waiting for exam results. Waiting for a phone call. Waiting for someone to say, everything is okay. And while they wait, their brain slowly begins creating stories. Maybe something went wrong. Maybe they're angry. Maybe I failed. Maybe the worst has already happened. Here's the strange part. Bad news would actually hurt less, because your brain would rather know something terrible than know nothing at all. Why? Why does uncertainty make your heart race, your stomach tighten, and your mind imagine disasters that don't even exist? The answer has almost nothing to do with modern life. It begins 200,000 years ago. Why your brain hates uncertainty. Here's something most people never realize. Your brain isn't watching the world, it's predicting it. Before someone finishes a sentence, your brain has already guessed what they're about to say. Before you open a door, it has already imagined what's behind it. Before your phone even unlocks, your brain has already predicted what you'll see. It does this every second, not because it's curious, because prediction keeps you alive. Scientists discovered something fascinating. Your brain is constantly building a model of reality, then comparing that model to what actually happens. When prediction matches reality, everything feels normal. But when reality suddenly changes, your brain treats it like an emergency. Not because something bad happened, because something unexpected happened. Imagine walking through your house at night. You expect another step. Instead, your foot touches nothing. Just one missing stair, and your entire body explodes into panic. Your heart jumps, your muscles tighten, before you even understand what happened. That's your brain, not reacting to danger, reacting to a broken prediction. Now imagine uncertainty, no answer, no explanation, no ending. Your brain can't update its prediction, so instead, it keeps sounding the alarm, again and again and again. Imagine you're alive, not today, but 200,000 years ago. There are no cities, no hospitals, no police, no internet, just forests, darkness, and things that want to eat you. Every morning, your survival depends on one thing: making the right prediction. Which path is safe? Which berries are poisonous? Is that sound in the bushes just the wind, or a predator waiting to attack? Back then, certainty meant survival. Uncertainty meant death. Your ancestors didn't have the luxury of saying, "Let's wait and see what happens." Sometimes, waiting meant becoming dinner. So evolution rewarded a very specific kind of brain. Not the bravest one, not the smartest one, the one that assumed the worst before it was too late. Imagine hearing a branch snap behind you. You turn around. You don't know what caused it. Your brain has two choices. Option 1, it's probably nothing. Option 2, run. Even if 99 times out of 100 it was only the wind, the one person who ran away lived long enough to have children. The one who ignored it often didn't. Over thousands of generations, that tiny survival advantage became wired into the human brain, which means your brain learns something that still controls your life today. If you don't know what's happening, assume danger. That rule saved your ancestors. But today, your brain uses the exact same rule for completely different problems. An unanswered text, a delayed email, a medical report, a job interview, a message that simply says, "Can we talk later?" Nothing dangerous has happened, but your brain doesn't know that, because to the ancient part of your mind, uncertainty still feels exactly like standing outside a dark cave, wondering what's hiding inside. But here's where things become even stranger. Scientists discovered your brain doesn't just hate uncertainty, sometimes it actually becomes addicted to it. And that's exactly why you can't stop checking your phone, even when you know nothing has changed. Here's where things become truly strange. If uncertainty feels so uncomfortable, why do you keep checking your phone? Why refresh your inbox when you already know nothing has changed? Why keep looking at the same notification, hoping the answer will suddenly appear? It seems irrational, but your brain has a reason. Scientists discovered that your brain isn't rewarded only by getting answers. Sometimes it's rewarded by waiting for them. Imagine buying a lottery ticket. The winner hasn't been announced yet. For a brief moment, anything feels possible. You imagine the vacation, the new house, a completely different life. Then the numbers are announced. Whether you win or lose, that excitement disappears. The mystery is over, and your brain moves on. Researchers notice something fascinating. The brain often becomes more active before the outcome than after it. Not because uncertainty feels good, but because your brain is preparing for every possible future at once. It's constantly asking, what happens if this goes well? What happens if it doesn't? What should I do next? Every possibility demands attention. Every possibility consumes energy. And that's exactly why uncertainty is so exhausting. Now think about social media. You unlock your phone, nothing. A few minutes later, you check again, still nothing. 5 minutes later, again. Why? Because every refresh carries a tiny possibility. Maybe someone replied. Maybe someone liked your post. Maybe something changed. Most of the time, nothing has. But your brain doesn't care. It only knows the next check could be different. And that's enough to keep you coming back. The apps didn't create this behavior. They simply learned how your ancient prediction system already works. Every notification, every typing, every loading circle keeps your brain suspended between certainty and uncertainty. And once you're trapped in that space, walking away becomes surprisingly difficult. Here's the real problem. Uncertainty never stays empty. The moment your brain doesn't have an answer, it creates one. Imagine your friend hasn't replied for 6 hours. Nothing has actually happened, but inside your head, an entire movie begins playing. Maybe they're angry. Maybe I said something wrong. Maybe they don't like me anymore. Notice something strange? Out of thousands of possible explanations, your brain almost always starts with the worst one. Not because you're negative, because your brain is trying to protect you. Thousands of years ago, assuming the worst kept people alive. If you heard a noise in the bushes, it was safer to imagine a predator than the wind. If you were wrong, you wasted a little energy. But if you were right, you survived. Evolution didn't reward optimism. It rewarded caution. And your brain still follows that ancient rule today. That's why one unanswered email can convince you you're getting fired. One medical test can convince you something is seriously wrong. One awkward conversation can convince you you've ruined the relationship forever. The uncertainty lasts only a moment, but the story your brain creates can stay with you for days. Psychologists even have a name for this: catastrophizing. Your brain automatically jumps to the worst possible outcome long before there's any evidence. And here's the trap. Once your brain creates that story, it starts looking for proof. Suddenly, everything seems to confirm your fear. A short reply, a serious face, a delayed call. Pieces that mean almost nothing suddenly feel like evidence. Not because they're true, because your brain has already decided what it expects to find. It isn't searching for reality anymore, it's searching for confirmation. And that's how uncertainty quietly transforms into anxiety. But here's the part almost nobody realizes. If uncertainty creates anxiety, then certainty should always make us feel better, right? Surprisingly, science found that's not always true. And the reason explains why people stay trapped in cycles of worry for years.